I, 33 female, married my husband Alex, 35 male, 8 years ago. About 5 years ago, my mom died sometime after my second child was born. I went into depression due to her death and postpartum. We stayed at my mom's house for about 6 months with my sister, Sally, 28. Alex and Sally helped me a lot during this time and got me out of that dark phase. Things eventually got better, and we came back home. About 2 years ago, we had our anniversary, and we decided to celebrate at home. Sally came too. However, towards the end of the party, I saw Alex and Sally arguing, and then she abruptly left. When I asked him, he broke down and told me he had an affair with Sally. Basically, when I was in depression, he was so lonely and didn't know how to make things better. I became like a shell of a person, and he felt helpless seeing me like that. Then Sally came and comforted him. They would share their feelings with each other and became each other's emotional support. This led to an emotional affair that turned physical after Sally kissed him. However, after Sally asked him to divorce me, he realized his mistake, freaked out, and just ghosted her. After the party, Sally was angry for not leaving me and accused him of using her and throwing her away. He had a breakdown and kept on apologizing. I asked him to leave and that we would get a divorce. He left eventually, and we were separated for quite some time. I confronted Sally, who started crying and wanted to explain, but I just cut the call and went no contact. However, during this time, my kids would cry for their dad, and my oldest would constantly ask for him. Also, since I'm working, it's almost impossible for me to take care of them alone at the same time. Also, divorce seemed like a bad idea financially. Most importantly, Alex is a great dad, and I could not see my kids in pain, so I decided not to get divorced. In reality, I've not forgiven him and would leave after the kids are grown up or if the kids feel unhappy. For now, we're working efficiently as parents, and the kids are back to being normal and happy. A few days ago, Sally asked to meet through a mutual friend. Upon meeting, she said she was sorry and that she was getting married. She asked me to forget the past and be a family again. She even asked me to be the bridesmaid. I honestly laughed at her face and left. Now she's saying that I'm being cruel since I accepted my husband but am punishing her, that I'm her only family, and I should leave things in the past. I honestly don't want anything to do with her because of how much she hurt me. I adored her growing up, and she did that to me, but I don't know anymore. So am I the idiot for not forgiving my sister as she had an affair with my husband even though I accepted my husband back? Not the idiot for cutting your sister off, but you are the idiot for not giving yourself a better life, the life you deserve. You could make it work. Anyone can change their situation if they really want to. You're willing to spend the next 10 plus or whatever years of your life miserable because of your excuses. That makes you an idiot to yourself and the future well-being of your kids, who have to grow up knowing that you didn't have it in you to stand up for yourself and leave. OP, just so you know, your kids aren't stupid. They're much more intuitive than you think. And even if everything seems like sunshine and rainbows, they know their parents are just going through the motions. You should have divorced your husband. You could have been co-parents in separate houses. That way, the kids could still see their dad. A good dad doesn't translate to a good husband. Anyway, to each their own. You don't owe your sister anything. But to change one thing you said, she did that to you at the end. That's inaccurate. They both did that to you. Your husband is just as responsible as your sister is. Agreed. Staying together for the kids is rarely good for the kids. You're potentially teaching your kids to someday accept the same treatment. I really hope she doesn't have girl children. What a terrible thing to model. Forgive the wandering spouse, but that hussy affair partner is dead to you. The misogyny is coming from inside the house, ma'am. Update. I have been very clear with my husband that I have not forgiven him. I might forgive him in the future, or I might never. Right now, I don't know. However, I could not take his right to be a dad as well, as we both love our kids a lot. I'm not deceiving him nor giving him false hope. As for kids being unhappy, if at any point in the future I feel like they're unhappy or this arrangement is doing more harm than good, then we'll choose the route to co-parent. For now, I've decided to wait until the kids are grown up a bit so they can understand the situation. But for now, they're happy that both Dad and Mom are around. Even if I could forgive my husband, I would divorce him in the future, as I cannot see him as my husband anymore, and I'm no longer sleeping with him. I discovered my wife's cheating about 6 months ago. I used to be polyamorous before I decided that I wanted to get married. I'm not very hurt by her cheating. If she asked me before to open the relationship, I would have offered her divorce and for us to live as boyfriend and girlfriend, and we could have explored a polyamorous lifestyle together. I definitely do not want to be married in a polyamorous situation. There are a lot of legal and financial entanglements that are difficult to sort out when you're married and poly. So I asked for a divorce as soon as I found out about her cheating. I don't want to know why she cheated. I don't want to know the details. I just want a divorce. I don't like liars. We have a 1-year waiting period before we can proceed with the divorce, so we're stuck in the same house. I don't want to leave, and neither does she. I also started dating a week after I told her I wanted separation because I desired intimacy, and having intimacy with her was out of the question. My soon-to-be ex-wife has been working to show me that I can trust her. She signed up for individual therapy. She's put a lot of effort into herself in the past few months. She wanted to attend couples counseling, but I don't want to waste time and money. I want to cultivate my relationship with my girlfriend, whom I've come to like very much. I see a future with her. She's kind and sweet. I recently started a discussion with my wife about rules regarding introducing my girlfriend to our kids and whether she would like to meet her. She was very mad and unloaded on me that she was doing hard work to fix her issues, and I didn't see it. I see it, but I don't see how that changes anything. Then she asked me about my girlfriend and my plans with her. I told her that I think we have a good connection, and I can see myself marrying her in the future. I feel she's going to be a good influence on the kids. She's been giving me the silent treatment. Am I the idiot? Everyone's the idiot here. She cheated, and her efforts to make amends don't mean she can undo the damage she did. She needs to understand that and accept it. But dude, 6 months into a separation and 5 months, 3 weeks into a new relationship is way too soon to be thinking about introducing your new girlfriend to the kids. Their lives are already being turned upside down by the divorce, especially while their parents are still living together. Seriously, WTF? You don't have to protect your ex's feelings, though while you're living together and co-parenting, you could probably be a little less hurtful. Still, you do need to put your kids ahead of yourself. Let them process the divorce before you bring another woman into the picture. I honestly might be more disgusted by your selfishness regarding your kids than I am by her cheating, and that's saying something. Yeah, it must be confusing as heck for the kids, and then horny dad throws a girlfriend in the mix. Like so many cheaters, she's realized she's imperiled her good thing and is trying desperately to get that security back. No one owes a cheating partner forgiveness or any attempt at reconciliation or closure. Good on the soon-to-be ex-wife for getting into therapy, but just because she wants to save the marriage doesn't mean he does, and he's not obligated to do so. But don't bring someone new around the kids until you've lived separately. You are the idiot for the fact that you've been cohabitating for a year and giving your wife thoughts that the marriage can be saved. Also, you are the idiot if you can't be single after a relationship for at least a month. Good friends would tell you you're on a rebound. Adults over 30 recognize this won't last. For someone who wasn't hurt, OP sure is acting like someone compulsively trying to fill a void. Either that or OP was done with this relationship and was just waiting for something like this to have an excuse to get out. My daughter, 28, and I, 56 female, have a tough relationship. I take the blame for all of this. When she told me she was a lesbian, I didn't react well. I didn't kick her out of the house or do anything else, but I said terrible things. Our wonderful relationship turned into barely talking. My husband woke me up 2 years after she came out. I started trying to improve my thoughts and prejudices and understand all of this better. Still, our relationship was already severely damaged because of me. I apologized to her for the things I said. We had a heart-to-heart conversation, and she was very sincere in saying that when she left the house, she would cut off contact with me because, despite accepting my apology, she no longer trusted me as someone she wanted around. I accepted this, and she cut off 95% of contact with me after going to college. I tried to get closer or go to therapy together, but she refused, so I respected it. We had contact when my husband was alive because she attended the end-of-year parties. Still, after he passed away 3 years ago, we talked 3 times. She didn't want to talk, and I respected that because I was aware of what I did. 2 weeks ago, I was in a car accident, and I broke 2 ribs in my arm and had several scratches on my body. It was nothing too serious. I'm recovering well and have help at home. I didn't say anything to my daughter because we don't talk, and she lives 8 hours away. She called me yesterday, asking if I had really been in an accident. When I confirmed, she started to argue with me, saying I shouldn't learn this kind of thing from my cousin, but from you. I was honest here and said that we hadn't talked in months, almost a year. I respected what she asked, and I thought this was a topic she wasn't interested in. She started to say that even though we didn't talk, I had to tell her this type of information because she was my daughter and the only immediate family, and not hide it from her. She's upset with me, but today I received a bag from the pharmacy with pain medication and other things from her. I'm feeling bad, but I'm also doing what she asked, which is that we have no contact. Am I the idiot? Yeah, ignoring everything in the past here and judging on the present is not the idiot. She's the one who maintained a no-contact relationship. You've respected her wishes for years and kept your distance at her request. It's ridiculous for her to scold you for doing as she requested. You can't be faulted for respecting her wishes. She can't change the rules and then play the victim after the fact. It sounds like there's no winning for you here. You're darned if you do, darned if you don't. She's going to be upset whether you contact her after being told not to, or if you didn't contact her. You're not a mind reader to determine what contact is acceptable for her, depending on what rules she's established that day. It's possible the daughter got a real scare after the accident and is now regretting how much distance there is in the relationship. She's not expressing it well if that is the case, or she's only upset because she heard about it from her cousin and was embarrassed that she didn't know something important about her mother. Exactly. The daughter realized she looked bad to the family when her cousin told her about the accident. Send her a thank you note for thinking about you. Tell her that if you have another accident, you will tell her. Then it's up to her to get back in contact. Do not expect much, though. You might have made a mistake, but her behavior is just as bad. My wife and I have a toddler son who she watches as a stay-at-home mother. I run my own dental practice, and because of this, I'm able to afford to keep her as a stay-at-home mom. She and I were not together very long before she got pregnant, and I had her move in after only about a year of seeing each other. We were married exactly a week after Landon was born. Since then, she hasn't been the best. I'll frequently come home to a messy house, our son unbathed, laundry not done, and dinner not cooked. I've brought this up on multiple occasions, and she says Landon is a handful and she doesn't have time to accomplish all these duties. Landon is always a piece of cake to deal with when I'm home, as well as on the weekends, so I never really believed her, but I didn't want to get into a fight. Well, last night she went out of state to visit her mother, who's in hospice. I've never met her and they've been estranged for years, so my wife and I decided it would be better to stay home with Landon while she's gone. I took off work to watch Landon. It's been the easiest week of my life since high school. I did the math, and changing diapers averaged 20 minutes a day. Cooking all meals took 40. Loading the dishwasher took 10. Giving him a bath was about 30 minutes apiece. and cleaning took me about 25 minutes a day. He was so well behaved. We had the best time playing around, and I only spent about 1.5 hours doing actual work. I'm honestly upset at this revelation that my wife does nothing all day while I work to provide for her and Landon. She gets back tomorrow, and frankly, once she's over her mother, I'm planning on telling her, after living in her shoes for a week, I need her to step up to the plate because the amount of effort she's been putting in is unacceptable. If she doesn't do it, I'll have to leave her because I don't like feeling like I'm taking care of 2 children. She's a bit younger than me. She's 27 while I'm 33, but she's used goods. Most successful men don't want a woman with a kid from another man. I understand she hasn't grown into more mature habits, but I feel like once you become a mother who gets to stay at home and be provided for, you should at least hold up your end of the deal. So, am I the idiot for telling my wife she needs to do better? She's used goods? LOL. Grow up, idiot. No wonder your place is a mess. She's probably depressed being with you. Do her a favor and divorce her. I hope your wife gets with an actual doctor for logical reasons. Dude, you only took 40 minutes to cook 3 meals? The math isn't mathing. What did you eat? Cereal and sandwiches? Don't worry. Most men do not think she's used goods, so she would be just fine. You, on the other hand, would definitely find trouble, considering what you're like. LOL. I can't believe you just posted that about the woman you promised to spend your life with. Ha ha ha. She's 27 and has 1 child. What's going to be child support and spousal maintenance from a dentist? She's going to be fine. By the way, she may be a complete mess because her mom's dying. OP is such a moron. I don't know if, once she's over her mother, is something I'd be inclined to say about someone I loved or even especially liked. I, female 21, have a skin condition called vitiligo, and despite it now covering more than half of my body, I've come to accept it. I also have pretty distinct scars. They're not really nice looking, but it's whatever. I don't cover any of that up. I'm happy with how I look, and I don't want to hide a part of me, but that brings me to the wedding party in question. My cousin Dan, 27, is marrying Laura, 26. I've befriended her through Dan. She was always nice and didn't fuss about how I looked. That said, when she asked me to be her bridesmaid and I accepted, she asked if I could cover the scars up. I admit I wasn't too happy, but they can be an eyesore, so I agreed. That was last autumn. A few weeks ago, she extended the request to cover up the skin condition, which would mean 2 things. Either I would wear a completely different dress or attire than I already bought and other bridesmaids had, or I would wear 60% concealing cream for the day. For everyone there, that would just make me stand out more and make Laura blatantly look bad, in my opinion. Why is she wearing a suit? Didn't she entirely ditch concealers years ago? I explained that I couldn't do that for said reasons, to which she basically told me to figure something out and that she didn't want me taking the attention away. I told her everyone attending already knew me, so I didn't know what was wrong. Laura still demanded I figure something out, so I did the simplest thing I could to appease her. I can't steal her thunder when I'm not in the party. I still intended to come as a guest and in a normal dress, though. Laura still told me to cover up, even as a guest. I told her no, which she didn't take well. So now I'm not attending at all. Dan told Laura to let it go and kind of tried to calm her down, and most people relatively agreed with me. However, I also had people tell me to swallow my pride for a day. So, am I the idiot? Honey, can you please attend the wedding in a head-to-toe sheet with eyes cut out? It's like a full-on ghost, but not a white sheet. Then you might be mistaken for the bride. Jesus, you are not the idiot for not attending. If I were Dan, I'd cancel the wedding. Who wants to be with such a superficial, entitled, and unkind person? I'd go with a full-body astronaut costume with reflective helmet. OP, you have a health condition that you live with. This is not the swallow the pride thing. This is not the case when a guest insists. I'm just expressing myself, my pride. No one has the right to ask you to cover up how you look for their event. And you've learned something important about your cousin and his bride-to-be. Feel free to tell anyone who asks why you're not attending. I'm sorry you have to deal with this.